Hey, Dallisa here. I've got my fellow awesome psychic mediums. We're going to get started here in just a moment. We're going to be looking at Amy Winehouse, George Michael, and Michael Jackson. What would they like to tell us from the other side? We're going to find out in just a minute. All right, the way this Mysteries with the Mediums is we come to you and we bring you messages from the other side. We have, of course, Amy Winehouse, George Michael, and Michael Jackson are the celebrities we're going to be tuning into this month. We're all going to introduce ourselves here in just a minute, but we're going to dive right into the first person. And with me today, I've got Maria, I've got Jasmin, I've got Michele, and they're all waving, saying hello. Welcome to everybody that's tuning in live. I know you watched this from all over the place, and we'd love that you joined us here on the live or the replay. So drop a comment, let us know. We are broadcasting on Michele's YouTube channel, as well as Maria's Facebook page and the Spirit and Spark TV channel on YouTube. So let us know where you're tuning in from, city, state, or if you're outside of the United States, which country are you watching from? So we are going to jump right into this. Amy Winehouse is up first. And yeah, who wants to go? What did you get from Amy? Oh, Maria wants to go. Go for it.
So really cool thing that we picked Amy. Her birthday was actually September 14th. So she just had a birthday. So interesting. We were feeling connecting to pull her forward, which was one of the things I got, as I said it, as I was walking through and she was coming. She felt sorry for her father, and it looks like there was this interesting challenge between a conflict between her mother, herself, and her father. And as I went to go through and review, she felt like she was very tormented by the religious side of her mother, and she was always being pulled into it, and she really had a hard time connecting. She, of course, died of an alcohol overdose, but she was always, what she said to me was the high was always too good and she couldn't get away from it, and she felt pressure. And unfortunately, that was just so much she could never kind of get on top of. She never felt good enough for her mother's eyes. Her mother, as I looked up, it was interesting to read, again, the religious part of it, plus she was a pharmacist, so very much direct, very pinpointed. And Amy was just such an kind of unconfinable person. It just was too much for the two of them, is what she kept making me feel like. Very interesting, though, that her birthday just came up. So interesting. We felt connected to pull her this go around.
Yeah, no accidents ever.
No.
Yeah, great. Michele, I see you shaking your head. Do you want to go next?
Oh, sure. Okay. So when I tuned into her, the first thing that came through to me was like this image of this wild horse, like this beautiful horse, just, galloping through the countryside and just like unbridled and free. And she told me that that's who she was, but that she felt very confined and bridled in life. She didn't go into a lot of details, but that goes along with what Maria was saying, just with her mother and things. She told me very specifically that she was in love with someone, but she wasn't allowed to be with them, that she felt like she had to settle because of expectations. And it felt like a lot of pressure, not just from family, but from like the record companies and her manager and things like that. And I kept asking her if it was, if it was a woman or a man. She wouldn't confirm or deny anything. She was just like mute. She's like, it didn't matter. It was just, I couldn't be with who I wanted to be. She says that she wanted to be a doctor or something in medicine, but during her time, like in junior high, around that age, somebody told her that she wasn't very smart, and that she couldn't do something like that. And so she kind of fell back onto her voice, which I'm like, well, that's not really a fallback. Like your voice, you know what I mean? Like that is everything for some people that would be everything. But she said it's unfortunate that she allowed them to tell her that she believed that. Okay. And then the last thing she said is she's very upset about all the censorship that's going on and that people aren't more upset about it. She's like, this is something that cannot be, it cannot stand. Censorship in any way is an erosion of freedom. And even if it's censorship of something that it doesn't directly connect to you or you think it's okay, like it isn't. And that was part of it. Like she just kept showing me that free running horse and saying like, so that was just her message for all of us. Like the censorship that's going on in all these places, like we got to stand up for it, against it, stand up for our right, freedom of speech. So
sounds like Amy. Totally. Yeah. Jasmin, what do you want to add to this?
So I actually got a hidden pregnancy that she lost a baby. There was definitely the issue with her not being able to be with somebody. He was going to be a great father, right? She was in love with him, thought that was her soulmate, but she could not be with him. I think a lot of her using came from the fact that she was unhappy. That was a side of her life that she did want to have a family and did want to have a child. And it looks like towards the end of her life, this big chaotic moment happened and she had to keep it a secret. And I think that there was a big fight with her mom. She thought that this person was going to be a great father. And so, yeah, there were a lot of secrets. So it's interesting how Michele said that, she wanted to be uncensored and wants everybody to be uncensored, because it does look like she was feeling very lonely in her secrets and didn't want to have to keep them. She wanted to be authentic and true. And there was definitely a man that I picked up on that she very much was in love with and couldn't be with. So I also got that she was just partying with the wrong person, spending time with the wrong people, and just felt a huge burden of this fame for her life. I don't think that was really the direction she wanted to go. So there was a ton of heartbreak here.
Sounds very sad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I channeled her this morning. So if you're new to watching Mysteries of the Mediums, I sit down and I write out all my notes. And so here's what she brought forward. When she came into the room this morning, she was this big, bold energy. And I saw the colors red and gold coming in and out of her and all around her. She's very empathic and deeply loving, like a very loving person. She went on to say, the disease was in me. She said, alcoholic, check. Abuser, check. And she was just like kind of funny and very kind of outgoing, when she was having this conversation with me. But she said, I knew it wasn't, she said, I knew I wasn't going to be here very long. I felt it in my bones, but I liked the high. I was in a bit of denial, yes, but a lot of not caring. So I do feel like this was a disease that kind of just took over all of her. She said it was nobody's fault. And it did feel biological, like an alcoholism, something that was kind of inherited or in her body. She said it was the way I was wired. I had my finger on the self-destruct. Several creative projects imploded. Relationships were not stable. And it started when I was an early teen. And then she kind of laughed and she said, I was a normal kid for the most part. But then the last thing she shared with me, she said, my hormones affected my brain chemistry. Ooh. And I got chills as I said that. So I enjoyed talking with her. She was really cool. She's like a woman I'd like go sit at a bar with and like have a drink with and just kind of shoot the ish with, Mm-hmm. So I'm glad we all got to connect with her. And as Maria shared, it was her birthday not too long ago. So no surprise, she came knocking on our door and wanted to talk to us. So that's great. I appreciate everybody's messages about Amy Winehouse. Before we move on to George Michael, I'd like to just quickly go around the circle. Introduce yourself. Where can people find you? What are you working on these days? So Maria, I'll start with you.
Well, you can find me at, of course, Spirit and Spark, doing psychic and mediumship readings, as well as you can find me at Feather Sage and Spirit, which is my site, which connects directly from yours as well. So either way, you can find me at Psychic Mediumship by Maria, or Feather Sage and Spirit, or Spirit and Spark. And yeah, looking forward to the holidays coming up. I know lots of people really want to make those connections, and I know that everybody, we talked about this a little bit, everybody's looking for that. So just reach out. We will, definitely love to connect with you guys as well. And hopefully we'll take care of everybody for the holidays.
Absolutely. Jasmin.
Hey, okay, so I'm a psychic, medium, and astrologer. I do have some moon classes going on right now, but you can find those at Spirit and Spark or goddessjspiritualreadings.com. I am also offering, I do on YouTube free readings every Friday at 12:30 PST. So if you aren't sure if you want to book a reading and just kind of want to see my reading style, you could go head over there. I do it for about an hour, and you can ask any question for free, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. So
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, Michele.
Hey everyone, I'm Michele Snelling, and you can reach me at michellesnelling.com. That's my website where I've got all of my aromatherapy, my essential oil and salt products, because I am the accidental aromatherapist. I'm also a psychic medium, intuitive medium, whatever you want to call it today. I mean, it seems like it's something different all the time. We're always changing it, but I'm a medium. That's what I know. So, and you can have a personal one-on-one reading with me if you would like that. You can find my schedule at michellesnelling.com. That's Michele with one L, Snelling with two. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is simply Michele Snelling. I've got a show on there called Practicality and Magic that airs. It's kind of random right now, but maybe we'll get into a little bit more of a schedule. And I also subscribe to my YouTube channel because I do I come on there live from time to time and do free readings. So, and I would love to do that for you guys. So,
yay. Yeah. And I'm Dallisa. I'm the CEO of Spirit and Spark, 5th generation psychic medium, the host of Spirit and Spark TV. I do Tarot Tuesdays where I pull cards on the YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button over on YouTube. A note about sessions. So myself and my team, we are getting a lot of requests right now. I've been warning everybody starting a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, listen, if you want sessions, you better get on the calendar because we are now officially in busy season. And a lot of people are looking for mediumship. They want to connect with people on the other side. We do have people to offer them in person. We have a lot of people to offer them virtually. They're just the same. We're reading energy, and energy is everywhere. But my message with this is, if you want a session, please reach out and book your sessions because we're all going to be slammed, likely through March. Because it always does that, right? It always does this right now. And then we get to like spring break and then it's like flattens out for like summer vacations, and then everybody gets back to school in September and then it goes up again. Yeah, Michele. I
was just going to say that I love that things start amping up this time of year with mediumship readings and that because, we all hear about how the veil is thin, which is great for us as psychics, but as mediums, but I think it's also very important for the person getting the reading because they're more open, they're more willing, and that makes our job easier. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit. So get your readings, people. Yeah. So if you're on the fence, just do it. You'll love you're able to connect and it'll be a lot of fun, but don't wait too long. Because I hate being the one being like, we got a little bit of a wait, but it is what it is. I've been telling everybody. So anyway, let's move on to George Michael. Good old George Michael. Oh, little sweet pea. Who would like to take this? Who wants to go first? I can. I was like, Michele, I know you're going to take it. Go for it. Sorry. I mean, I don't want to, if anybody else wants to, that's fine. No, go for it. So I was really excited to connect with him because I was a big fan back in the day, and I've always been a big fan. His album Faith is just like touching. It's like, you know, so heightened awareness. Anyway, but so what was interesting was he was different than I thought he was going to be. He was playful and fun and cheeky is what he, you know, because I'm like, oh my goodness, you're so playful. And he's like, we call that cheeky over here in England or whatever. So I don't know. But because he always seems so serious later in life. But what he told me was that he was a pudgy kid. And he said, like, and even though he grew out of it, like he never transcended that, his mind. He always saw himself as the pudgy outsider. And no matter how slender he got, like he always felt like he was pudgy and the outsider. He told me that up until through his 30s, he was bisexual, but then decided that he needed to just land with men. For like when he was about 36, he said was when he really decided, like, yeah, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like he was, because it felt like he was trying to play both sides, like be true to himself and be what he had a very traditional family. So he said he was trying to go along with them. And then he told me that he was in a bad dysfunctional relationship for about 10 years. He kept trying to break it off, but he couldn't. The person wouldn't. And he didn't have the strength and the knowledge, like the wisdom or the just cojones type of thing to do it. And he wouldn't leave. So they really weren't in a relationship, but they were in the relationship, if that makes sense. And he says he told me I was being poisoned slowly. And then slowly at first, and then big doses, which were what caused his heart issues. So, and I believe, I didn't look it up, but I think that that's what he passed from was a heart attack. I don't know. But
yeah.
When he told me, when he said that, it resonated like, oh yeah. Anyway, so
I was just looking it up. Actually, a coroner's report attributed the death to liver and heart disease.
Okay.
At 53.
Maria, what did you hear from him from the other side?
So what I got was the first thing he told me is he got so caught up in everything, and like you were saying, Michele, it's like he wanted to be normal, but he never could find that fit, and he just kind of got pushed in to, and so he wanted to thought he was normal, but he felt always different. And so he had that battle between getting caught up in what his music was taking him and what he felt like he was supposed to be and what he really was. So there was a huge conflict. Another thing he was talking, he really missed his family connection. So I was trying to look up how his family dynamic was, because one thing he did say was he really missed that family. And the other two things were interesting was he liked to make people genuinely smile, because he had felt so awkward during his stages of growing up. And so when he finally started allowing himself to be who he was, then he kind of got pulled back because of media and what people thought he should have been. And so he was always conflicted. So he wanted just to make some people smile, because his life was so complicated. He was like just battling it daily to be what he wanted to be and what he was pushed into being. Those were the biggest things that he kept talking to me about, was that. And it was interesting, as I was trying to look up and validate it, was that, yeah, like you had said, his whole growing up was kind of one way, and then as his music career started going, he just couldn't find that real balance, unfortunately. And then I was trying to, because he said something about a property, and I was trying to look up something on a property, but I don't know if his partner wound up keeping the property or what. I haven't been able to validate that yet. So that's what I was looking up. But he did mention something about his property was very precious to him. So I want to go back and find out.
Yeah. I'm going to move to Jasmin in just a second. Everybody watching, or if you're catching the replay, can you just drop a comment and let us know, what do you think about what we've said about Amy Winehouse? And then what do you think about George Michael? Share your comments, what you maybe are getting from the other side, or if you have a message that they're sharing with you that you want to pass along through the comments, please go ahead and do that, and we can see them come up on the screen. All right, Jasmin, what'd you get from Mr. George Michael?
So I like to ask about the secrets because I like to find out what's hidden. But that was a big thing, that there were a whole lot of secrets with him. I got that there was a child that may or may not have been his, but he was paying to keep quiet. And he had been paying this woman. It looks like it might have been a one-night stand. This child, I feel like, is over. I mean, it has to be 18 or something by now. I don't know. It seems like something that happened in his younger years, and it's actually why he was pushed more so into no longer wanting to be bisexual. He almost did have this kind of bitterness, right? This bitterness about women, because he just felt like every time he was in a relationship with a woman that they just wanted something from him. And they wanted to take something from him. And he was in love and almost obsessed with someone he worked with. Now, this person was straight. And this person, it sounds like he was kind of spying on him. I don't know. He just had this obsession about him. And he couldn't be with him. He couldn't be with him. He couldn't tell him. And he felt very lonely because of that. And yeah, and there was that hidden thing where he was spending a lot of money for what looks like a child support situation. And he did not have a relationship with his mother or child. He definitely kept a distance. And just a whole lot of feeling empty, right? Like, yeah, there's that fame there, but on the other side, he was heartbroken. Right? He couldn't live out the things that he really wanted to in his heart space. So, yeah.
Yeah, some of the things I got from him were very similar to what has been shared. But he said that he was very kind-hearted, very loving, as he joined me earlier today. And he said, I experienced sadness, loneliness, and despair. I did get the feeling from him that there were times in his life where he thought, would it be better if I left the earth? So a lot of sadness came in through him. He says, I wasn't sure who I was anymore. I didn't feel truly loved by many people. They wanted the factory and the brand I had created. I was deeply confused by it all, meaning the fame. I wanted it and I didn't want it. I wasn't sure how to be the real me without feeding into the business. There were health struggles that were not public, and I wasn't sure what people would think of me. I kept to myself because that's where I felt safe. And then the last thing he said is, on the other side right now, he's working on self-love and worth. He felt like that was something he really needed to embrace once he crossed over. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Because, I mean, we experienced the personality of Amy Winehouse and her coming in and being this, like, almost like this spark, like a sparkler kind of energy. And then George comes in and feels to me like just this big heart and a little bit more melancholy with how he came forward. But that's how spirit is, But thank you, everybody, for sharing your thoughts on George Michael. What we're going to do next is we're going to do audience messages, and then we've got Michael Jackson still. I mean, Michael Jackson. Oh, mercy. Oh, I hope my video doesn't get flagged just for mentioning his name.
Amen.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got a lot going on. So here's how this works. We're all going to take turns tuning into different questions that you have. The best format for this, everybody, is if you could comment and let us know a specific question. That way we can just anchor into that energy directly. It's not, you might not get selected if you're just like, hey, whatever needs to come through or whatever general message, like just give us a question. It makes it easier to filter that through. And then we're all just going to go around and say who we are going to read for. So start posting. Please just post once. It makes my life a lot easier. And everybody, Maria, Jasmin, Michele, if you see somebody on there that you want to take, let me know. We'll do the first round. So I'll write everybody's names down that we're going to take.
I can take, is it Tiara Green, Grandma Mildred?
Okay.
I feel drawn to that.
I'll do Amy, Grandma R.
And I am looking.
Angelita, I'm going to take Harry Sanchez. Maria, who'd you get?
I'm looking to see who's jumping. I'm looking through the comments and we've got everybody who's, let's see what we've got here. I think I will take Tracy, wanting to know about her mom.
Okay. All right, let's take a second to tune in, and whoever wants to jump in and go.
I can start.
Okay.
So is it, I don't know if it's Tiara or I don't know. Anyway, Grandma Mildred. So she feels like the message from her is all about trusting yourself. And it feels like you need to look for a new job or a new, like a new position within wherever you're working. But it feels like wherever you're at is not good for you. It feels, she's saying the word abusive. It feels like you're overworked, underpaid. You don't have a good boundary because that's something that you know that you want to work on within your life is having those clear boundaries of overgiving, not overgiving. And so she's talking about that, and she's saying that you need to look for something new. And what I'm feeling is, I don't know if you're with computers or just like at a desk, but I feel like you're stationary and you need something where there's movement. You need something where you can be up and moving and in flow is what it feels like. It's just like way too stagnant right now. And then you your lack of boundaries has you overworking and overgiving. So be careful with that. And the card that I pulled for this is education. And she's saying that she did like the education is not about work. It's not about you going back to school or learning anything else to do for work. It's about educating yourself on those boundaries, how to find that self-love and that compassion and those clear boundaries for yourself. Because if not, this is just going to keep repeating. So I hope that helps. She's also saying that she wants to tell you that you've done a really good job, like in creating so much of your life and like being successful and having things and like just like a life that you never thought you could have, or that's very different than the rest of the family, whatever that means. She says congratulations and she's so proud of you.
All right, I'll go. Angelita, I got a message from Harry, and this is what my post-it note says from Harry. He's saying, you're going to get through this. I feel like they're showing me like these mountains, these peaks. Keep going, one foot in front of the other. He says your current struggles aren't forever. It's just maybe the vibration that you find yourself in at the moment, but it's not going to be that way for long. He wants you to know how much you're loved. Your grandmother watches over you at night, and he showed me like a necklace from your grandmother. And then the last thing he did is he showed me his strong hands, these very, very strong hands. And he says, I'll be strong for you when you feel you can't be. Just ask me to be there and I'll help you. So very loving energy, but that's from Harry. So, all right, who's going next?
I'll go.
Okay.
So for Tracy, she was asking about her mom. So the first thing I got is there's some sort of connection with the month of August with that. The other thing that she is talking about, she has been in a great learning phase, and she makes me feel like she's been coming around. And so the vibration has been a little much. She's making me feel like you haven't quite figured out that it's her, but also something connection with butterflies. And as I was going through this process and having her connect with me, I wanted her to give me a little more. So I did pull some cards. So the things that I got were, she's making me feel like she said, I wish I had told you more often how much I loved you. And that don't be afraid came up, and that it was her time to go. Interesting enough, when I get these, the don't be afraid, she makes me feel like you're in this process of big decisions or life changes, and you're feeling her vibration more now than ever. So I don't know if something is connected with that August timeline with it, but she's definitely around, and she's actually in a learning phase where she's actually being able to expand some of her, what I would call life dreams, almost like she didn't get to live a lot of it in this life. So she's actually learning it in the current life she's in right now. And what she said was she is around you quite often, and that's that vibration you're feeling. So please know that she is hearing and feeling you all the time, and just connect with her so that that vibration will start to slow down, and you'll actually connect with her much stronger. But I'm going to leave you with that at this point.
Awesome. All right, Jasmin.
Okay, Amy. So I got that she was feeling really left out in the cold. It was as if she felt like the other siblings, you know, your dad's brothers and sisters here, were there for her, especially when she was sick. And he wasn't. He seemed to be off doing his own thing. And she resented, because of her love for her son, she resented your mom for it. And it was definitely financial. I don't know if there was an opportunity to bring her into the home and take care of her, but she feels like they weren't there for her. They weren't there for her when she needed them the most. And it does look like somebody was working very hard here on finances, or just didn't have the time. And she was very upset about that. She thought that her son no longer cared about her. There was a lot of sadness here. And so that came out in double energy, right? Being very cruel instead of from her heart space.
Okay. Thank you. All right, round 2, Sherry. I'm going to take Sherry Peterson for Aunt Linda. Who's everybody else going to take?
I'm going to take Tiffany Gloria. She just asked about her mom, dad, or anybody else, and then if she's being lied to.
Okay.
I'll take Jessica.
Which Jessica does it say?
Roberts.
Okay.
And I think Terrace LeBron says, does Ginger have any words of wisdom?
Okay.
I can start with Tiffany.
Okay.
So Tiffany, this feels female, but I keep seeing an initial M and an initial C. So that could be first name or last name initial. I'm also seeing a 7 and an 11. So that would mean something is pertinent with either this person or you, and July, or the 7th of a month could be like a birth date, death date, anniversary of, wedding or passing. And then November. Oh, Marilyn Cole is her mom. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So then does the July or the 7th of a month and November or the 7th of a month have anything to do with you guys? 7/7, her birthday. Okay, great. Thank you. So she's talking about a new baby, and she wants to acknowledge the new baby or the new birth of something. And then she's also talking about a celebration. And this feels like a pretty sizable celebration of something or someone that was either just like at the beginning of September or is coming, like within between now and the beginning of October. But she's acknowledging it, and she's saying it really makes her happy. Like she's just like, she is so in love with you, Tiffany. Like, I mean, I always feel love when people come through for the people that I'm reading for, but this is just like, you were her moon, her sun, her stars. You were her entire world. And she just wants you to know that. And she just loves her family so, so much. So what she's saying to me about the dishonesty is that there is some dishonesty, and there's also a lot of truth. And that where the problem for you is coming in is that you're not trusting yourself to understand where the dishonesty is coming in, and also where the truth is. It's like you've just almost got it blanketed now that you're very skeptical and that you don't trust things and people. But she wants you to soften that, because that's not the right way. She, like, you're a trusting person, and that's not a bad thing. It's just discernment, and it's learning to trust yourself and to discern when you know something isn't honest and when you don't. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to quickly pull a card. And it's Metamorphosis in reverse. Okay, so Metamorphosis is all about change and like allowing ourselves to transform, right? And this is in reverse. So it's like, where are you not allowing yourself to transform? Where are you not seeing the possibilities? And this goes right to what she was just saying about the trusting. Like, because we're lied to, which happens, by the way, even psychic mediums get lied to, and we don't always see it or know it, right? I mean, but when that happens, our human inclination is to shut off and not trust anyone, or be really, like I said, I can't think of the word I used. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But just trust yourself that you will be discerning and see the possibility of it. So thank you. Thank you, Tiffany.
I'll go. I've got Aunt Linda. Sherry wanted a message from Aunt Linda, so I did that. I already went on to like round 3. I was like, wait, where are we? What day is it? Okay. Sherry, here's what came forward about Aunt Linda. So Aunt Linda will send you yellow butterflies specifically. She's saying that her heart is healed. So please know that everything going on there she says, good to go. She's giving me a little thumbs up over here. You're being nudged by your aunt to start new beginnings and open new doors. She said, if you're thinking about going back to school or starting a new venture, now is the time to do it, because those doors are going to be opening. She did give me the number 8. So pay attention when you see an 8 or a series of 8s. And also your relationship with money and allowing more money to come in. I love the affirmation, I am a money magnet. I am a money magnet, and imagining and knowing you're worthy of the abundance that's coming your way. Because then she said to ask you, what do you want to spend your money on? It's like, being a little bit more thoughtful, strategic about these new doors that are opening, and where do you want to put your money and your resources, your time and your talent. So anyway, I trust that message is helpful from Aunt Linda. So watch for those 8s and those yellow butterflies. And everybody that's getting messages, can you comment and let us know if they're resonating? And we'd love to hear from you on that. So, okay, who's next, Maria or Jasmin?
I'll go.
Maria, perfect.
So messages from gingers. So the first thing I heard was be you. And as I decided to pull some cards, what I got from her was 3 different things. She says, my mind is free. It is beautiful where I am, and I am with the rest of the family. And as I was getting these cards coming forward, what I kept hearing was, don't be fearful. I kept hearing, don't be fearful. And I feel like you're going through this state of change, and you're overthinking everything. And this is about allowing yourself to give yourself up to universe and allow things to come to you. And truly about standing in your power. This is really where she's hitting. Like I said, the first thing I heard was just be you, have faith in you, and lose the fear. So I don't know what you're actually going through right now, but what she gave me was, because her mind is free, this is pushing forward over to you of releasing those fears and allowing yourself, like you were talking about, Dallisa, which is, that money, allowing things to flow. The more positive we stay, the more open we allow universe to send us those things, is definitely where Ginger's coming from for this as well. So that was definitely something. The mind, the power of the mind is huge, and to allow things to come to you and release the fear. So awesome. I will leave you with that.
Jasmin.
Okay, I got a lot of messages. Something about you needing to take a trip towards the sibling.
Who is this for? Who's this for? In case I missed their name the first time. It's for what?
Jessica.
Perfect. Jessica Roberts.
Yeah, Robert. Okay, she wanted messages from her mom and dad. They are watching over a court situation going on, and they're letting you know, just stop fighting this, because this is going to work itself out. But you need to go on a trip towards a sibling that you are currently not talking to. They have a job waiting for you. I'm seeing a lack of finances here, and they're letting you know that there is some money and a job waiting for you, and you need to travel towards them and heal that relationship. And they are watching over this court situation, but you need to do what's best for your stability right now. And they are saying, I know you're sad, and I know that you're hurt, and this is unfair, but it is important for you to move forward. They talk about when you were a child having all of this energy and happiness, right? And always being a passionate person about anything that you put forth. And they're telling you to bring back that happiness that you once had, that passion towards your goals, right? With work, it's like when you would start a new job or you wanted to start something new, you would get really excited about it. And they're trying to tell you to come back into that, being very excited. And that this relationship that you're in is going to still be there, but you need to take a step away from it and focus on your stability, on your work. And they do see that happening through a sibling that you aren't talking to. So they want you to make that trip, wherever that is. I am getting somebody who may already have a business, if you have an older sibling with a business. All right.
Okay. We're going to do one more round, and then we are going to talk about Michael Jackson. So I'm going to do a very quick answer for Tracy Usmeyer, and then I've got a pretty quick message for Molly Mack. So who do you want to take for round 3?
I've got Catherine Yider.
Okay.
And then, let's see, there was one other. If I can. Oh, well, I'll just do Catherine.
Okay.
I'll do Michele Krantz.
Okay.
I will take Letitia. Letitia.
Okay. Perfect. So since I was working on round 3, I'll just go. Tracy, you asked if you were going to, the question was something like, are you going to find true love? Are you going to find it in this lifetime? And they said, yes, when you can fill your own cup. So it felt like not right now. This is not the time because there's too many things moving in your life. So I pulled a card for you, got surrender fear. Let go of, whatever is holding you back. It says, let go of the fearful stories you're telling yourself. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. So yes, you will, just not at the moment. You got to get your energy kind of recalibrated, but yes. Molly Mack, you wanted a message from your dad about your future. Your dad said, you will attract what you feel you are worth. So go for it. He's proud of you. He says, rise higher, don't settle. When you hesitate, it's a no. So if you're at a fork in the road and you're trying to decide on is it a yes or is it a no? He says, if it feels like a hesitation, it's a no. He says it needs to be a hell yes or it's a no. And then the card I pulled for you, Molly, is surrender low self-esteem, which is exactly in alignment with the message from your dad about rise up, rise higher, don't play it small or align yourself with people or circumstances that feel like they're safe. He wants you to take bigger risks. So when you know that you can have better, you will attract more. So get out of your own way. Very lovingly from your dad. All right, who's up?
I'll go. Catherine. She wanted to know about her mother, Evelyn. And I just kept seeing a lot of jewelry. Like she has on a lot of jewelry and she's showing me like all her jewelry. And it feels like it was gifts. And she wasn't necessarily comfortable with wearing all of it, but she did it because she wanted the people that gave it to her to feel special and to know that she loved them. But she has gorgeous jewelry. So I think, I mean, she's saying you've got a lot of it. So, and she's also saying like, I also feel like the jewelry's not worn. So this is really interesting because she's saying like she wasn't necessarily comfortable wearing it, but she wants it to be worn. She wants you to wear it. She wants you to put it on and whoever has it to wear it, like in homage to her and just in memory of her. So for you, she's talking to me about a move, a new home, and she's saying it's time for a big change for you. And she's like showing me a big break. Like it's time for a big break from what has kept you like stagnant and imprisoned and just what's kept you from having the life that you want and really, the joy that's in your heart. And I keep seeing like, and I'm not positive if this is Alaska or Western Canada, but it feels north and it feels west. So she keeps showing me that. And the whole time she's talking to me about this move and this new home, I kept feeling like it would be really, really difficult for you. And like, my human was like arguing with her, like, that's not going to work or whatever. And so I pulled a card to see what she had to, what help the cards could say. And I pulled Sad Embrace, which is all about it's okay. Like there is loss in life, things change and we feel badly and it's okay. Like it's part of the process, but we don't want the fear of this sadness and loss to keep us stuck and stagnant. So I hope that helps, Catherine. Thank you.
All right. Maria, are you going?
Yes, I am. It was funny. As soon as I tuned in, the first thing I heard was "Don't stop living," and so it was interesting as I pulled some cards as well, and it was about and the other one was "Don't close doors." So as I started pulling this, what I got was "Don't be afraid." He said we are so connected, and he was met by so many loving people. He sends you also loving signs through nature. But what he's really getting at is he's coming through to you because he doesn't want you to stop living. And I feel like he's making me feel like you have wanted to close doors for other people and not allow other people in, and you've just kind of been in this cloud of missing him, and yet you're in this feeling like things need to move forward, but you haven't. And so therefore he says, don't close the doors, don't stop living, don't be afraid. You are so connected with him, but he wants you to keep moving forward and allow people in your life. He doesn't want you to be alone. And that was interesting because he said he was met by so many loving people. He wants you to feel the same. So it's really about the don'ts. Don't be afraid. Don't stop living. Don't close the door on people, because you are so connected with him. He's going to send people your direction. And especially now, as we were talking about the holidays, this is when we want to feel that closeness, and he's definitely around you, but don't shut people out. He's sending people your direction to help you through this. So please know that and feel that vibration. And he is coming to you a lot, both in nature. And then I feel like also just before you wake up, I feel like he steps in and kind of wants you to have a good day every day. So I'll leave you with that.
Right on. Yeah. And in the comments, Jessica Roberts, if you are still watching, please check the comments because Tiffany is trying to connect with you. It sounds like a message that came through resonated for both of you. And that's common in group mediumship situations where spirits will piggyback and sometimes have very similar messages for people that are in the audience. So take a look at those comments. All right, Jasmin, what do you got before we go over to Mr. Michael Jackson?
Okay, so Michele, I got that she knew that you had to do this for your own healing, but she does think that you are holding back a lot of feelings here, and not allowing yourself to build this community. And there is something also about siblings here. And she had said that you left some sibling behind and wants you to reach out. It must be somebody younger than you, because yeah, she brought them up multiple times. You need to check on this person. Now, if this isn't a sibling, it could be a cousin or it's some family member of yours that is definitely younger than you. She's really worried about them, and that would be the only aversion she has really to this move that you made, because she does know that you had to do it to build some strength here. And she does want to let you know to stop holding back your feelings, and that you could lead a more abundant life if you were to step out into those things that maybe feel uncomfortable, but are for the best, right? Now this could be financial, this could be just creating a community, making more friends. She can see that you are not sleeping enough and there's a lot of anxiety here, so she's letting you know it is safe to trust those around you. All right.
Okay, awesome. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for submitting your questions, and we trust that Spirit came through and gave you what you needed to hear today. Michael Jackson is a bit controversial, so why not save him for last, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to share with you our messages that came forward about Michael Jackson. What did he say from the other side? And then make sure you stick around to the end of today's episode. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do for the Mysteries with the Mediums coming up for the October Halloween edition. So you don't want to miss that. I'll give you a little teaser for next month. So who would like to start? Mr. Michael, go ahead, Maria.
Well, ironically, his birth date is August 29th, so 1 month ago today. So interesting that they're right at that same timeline when we decided that when they popped up. So universe is always bringing them forward. The first thing I heard was his daughter. Like that was the first thing that came forward for him, is that he really had this endearing connection with her and is so, I don't want to say he's concerned, but he wishes he could have like helped her through these processing times where she's just, there was a special bond. He loved his sons, but there was a extremely different connection with his daughter. And he doesn't want her going down the same path that he was kind of pushed through. What I got was, there was so much, he said, there was so much family pressure, and he just never could get out. And he's so concerned over for his daughter was the biggest fear that he kept bringing forward. It's just this endless, gosh, I can't even, the resonating of the connection between him and his daughter was so similar that he had such a hard time leaving her behind. So he's always trying to pick up from the back end with her. And I feel like something's going to come out. He makes me feel like something's going to come out between her and his family. There's a separation that isn't quite, he's not making it real clear to me what it is, but there's something that she's actually going to either step away or something else is going to change with the dynamic so she can actually be more free, is what he kept pushing forward. And that has been his biggest, all the other things he could deal with. He never understood those accusations and those it hurt him. He was never one to want to hurt anyone. He comes as a gentle soul, but again, the concern was always for his daughter, her thoughts of him, or the thoughts that everything maybe could be true. And so he really fights with those internal thoughts with her and the way she viewed him. And that was the biggest thing, and the family pressures and the family pressure on her. So that's one thing. That was the biggest thing he came forward with. And ironically, yes, his birthday was just a month ago when we decided to do this. It's been really interesting. 2 out of the 3, the birthdays were right at the same time. But and that was, he loved the celebrations, the personal celebrations. He was big on that. And I haven't looked to see what his daughter's birthday is, but there is also a connection there with her. So, but those were his big things, and I'm going to leave it with that.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. All right, Michele, Jasmin, who wants to go next?
I can go.
All right.
So a big thing was that that documentary, he does say this wasn't true. He says that there was a lot of deception around that. And then it was purely just for what looks like a woman who had started this because she wanted to make more money. After he had left, she had, I put greedy, right? It was very financial. And they were still looking for a way to make more money out of this. So a ton of greed. He misses the way that it was with his siblings. He misses the way that, they had come together. He feels like when he became this king of pop, his entire life had become more stressful and it changed. And it wasn't actually what he had wanted. He feels like he had estranged relationships with his siblings. He no longer had that connection. And he had almost wanted his life to go down a different path. And yeah, again, saying that those accusations are not true. It was a publicity thing. Yeah, I just really wanted a new beginning. Towards the end of his life was feeling a lack of connection in his life.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Michele.
Okay, so when he came through, immediately it was just like this innocent, childlike energy. Like I was just so overcome. It makes me emotional as I'm feeling him now. It was just pure. I don't know. That's the only, just innocent and pure. And he had that. That was how he came into this world, and he kind of maintained that even through all the BS he went through, you know, with his dad and being in the music business and all the pain he went through, because there was a lot of pain in his life. He wanted to be really clear about that, like tons of pain, but he was able to maintain this purity and this innocence. He said he was abused by a family member, and he kind of alluded, it felt like a brother or a sister, or maybe both, and not like necessarily physical. I mean, we all know about the abuse from his dad, the emotional and mental, but this was another family member. But he just held his mom up like as this angel, like she's the angel, and she was his world. Like she was the guy, like, you know, and I think that's going to what Maria was saying about his daughter, that his mom was that in his life. And then when he had the daughter, he wanted to be that for his daughter. Mm-hmm. But he had a really hard time with the pressure of being everything. So he said, the first thing he said, absolutely, all of the things are false. All the allegations against him were false. He said he was asexual, is what he told me. Like he was not interested in sex with anybody, even himself. Like he just wasn't. And so what he showed me is that he would have these experiences with these kids, and it was just like stuff that you would do as kids. Like when you had sleepovers, you would change in the same room. You would like all go to the bathroom, whatever. You know what I mean? And he just didn't see that he had, like he didn't understand those boundaries necessarily of, I'm an adult, these are children. But as far as anything inappropriate going on, no. Like he was absolutely adamant. I never did anything. Like I couldn't hurt anybody if I wanted. He also said that he wanted to leave. Like he was so tortured by being here and having to live the way that he didn't want to, but that he was so worried about his mother and his daughter, is what he told me, Maria, his daughter as well. But that he just knew, like, so it was almost like interesting because he didn't take, it wasn't at his own hand, but he also took credit for it. Like he orchestrated the phone call that took the doctor out of the room, something like that. So very interesting. Wasn't at all what I expected to hear from him. So it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add my notes on onto what's been shared already, and then we'll talk about where you can find us in the Halloween episode we're going to do at the end of October. So he showed up, I would agree, with the trauma and abuse that I think we know just a piece of it. And the public, right, only knows a piece of it, because he said that there is a sickness energy. And he even showed it to me like the symbol on the side of a poison, like the poison symbol on the side of like a cleaner bottle, right? Like he says that he got stuck as a child in trauma. My body grew up, but my insides were a kid. I didn't know how to be an adult. I didn't make any adult decisions because my life was run for me. I understood kids more than adults. Adults hurt me. Curiosity with children was there. I wanted them to love me like I loved them. He said I meant no harm, and he even, like, instead of saying like I'm sorry, like he just kind of bowed before he exited out of the energy this morning. The only other thing I'll add to that is the energy was of one of being very talented. We know he's a creative genius, but that he operated at times from a mentality of being between the ages of 8 and 12. So there was like this feeling of that he was that kid, and I felt that he was stuck there, and that's what he was trying to communicate. But yeah, so interesting people, and they were all so different. energetically, which always makes it intriguing for sure for us, because we get to communicate with the other side, but then hopefully it came forward and you could feel it as somebody listening to today's show. But before we close out and before I tease the Halloween special, let's go ahead and just quickly go around the circle one more time and let people know where they can find you. We all do private sessions. So Maria, where can everybody connect with you?
Well, first off at Feather, Sage, and Spirits, and at Spirit and Spark, and at Psychic Mediumship by Maria. Find me at all three. They all link together. And yeah, like you said, it's interesting. They all were so different. And that's where, you know, I love what we get to do, because we get to feel those different energies, not knowing these people, but yet all of us getting that same vibration, and reminding everybody that we all carry our own vibrations, and that even our loved ones, their vibrations never leave us. And it's just a matter of tuning into them and connecting with them. And that's, I think, really an amazing feeling when we get to do that for ourselves and for each other.
Absolutely. Thanks for being a part of today's show.
Thank you.
All right, Jasmin.
Okay, so you can find me at Spirit and Spark or goddessjspiritualreadings.com. And I'm able to get you in within 24 hours. So, yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Michele. Michele with 1 L, Snelling with 2.
Thank you, Dallisa. Thank you. Yeah. I always have to do that because everybody wants to put 2 L's in Michele, and then you won't find me. So, which I understand is common, but you know, that won't work. So, you can find me at michellesnelling.com. That's where you can book a private one-on-one reading with me if you would like. I would love to do that for you. Again, this is a wonderful time to open this door, because the veil is thin for all of us, the reader and the person being read for. And I would love to do that for you. So go on, give my schedule. I do tend to book up. So if you want a reading anytime in the next couple of weeks, get it now. And thank you guys. And I just have to say again, Dallisa, I love this opportunity that we have to come together and do this interesting work together, because it just, these people that we feel like we know because we've, you know, been in the, you know, experienced them in the public and everything. It's just so different. And I always leave with such an appreciation for these people that I didn't have. So, or a different appreciation, I should say. So, thank you.
Absolutely, completely agree with you. They're fun to do these sessions and come together as a group. It amplifies the energy. So thank you to my fellow co-hosts and everybody who tuned in live. On Spirit and Spark TV on YouTube, make sure you've gone over there and subscribed, because a couple of things we're going to be doing. So Mysteries with the Mediums for the October Halloween edition. We're going to be taking a look at the mysteries surrounding the Black Dahlia. We're going to be trying to communicate with Harry Houdini. There's a whole story. Remind me to tell you that next month. And also Lizzie Borden. You know, why not do a spooky Halloween show and see what we can get from the other side from those 3 cases or 3 individuals. I also have an interesting opportunity that has come across my pathway. I grew up in the Seattle area. And as a little kid, my parents always used to, you know, say, be careful who you're hanging out with, be careful where you go, because during that time when I grew up, there was a serial killer there. And for years and years, I didn't know who it was, but it was right near where I lived. All of these years later, a woman has reached out to me because of what we do and the heart-centered work that we do, and wants to share her story. Her mother was one of the victims of the serial killer who has been identified and persecuted and everything. So I'll be interviewing her and having a really interesting conversation. That's going to be right before Halloween as well. And then Patrick Keller, who has been on some shows with me, he is a podcast host, and Karen, who's a Ouija board expert. The 3 of us are going to get together and we're going to talk all things Ouija board, paranormal, the other side. So that episode's coming up too. So I just want to give a quick plug for those upcoming episodes on Spirit and Spark TV on YouTube. And thanks again to everybody. We all have our stuff going on. Go check out all of our social media, our websites, our YouTube, our Facebook. Let's go get it. All right. Thank you. We'll see you next time.